Well, peace and love, everybody. I am your girl, Leah, and this is Through Our Eyes.
And I am
Welcome
Sarita.
And I'm Unique. Hey, y'all.
She's been struggling tonight.
All night. And our guest
All
tonight
night.
is Eros, Prince of Poetry.
Hey, Mr. Eros.
Yes, Mr. Eros. You know, I almost put the Prince of Peace on there, and I was like, maybe that's telling. But I've been listening to you, and it is telling.
It's so peaceful.
Is it Prince of
Poetry
Peace or poetry?
Poetry.
He
just makes you feel peace. He makes you feel peace, though. He does.
Yeah,
like,
he does.
If you listen to his
really
CD,
does.
I've gone to bed to that CD. It's really relaxing, and it's I do. I talk about your. Never mind. We'll I talk about this CD a lot because
she does. It's always playing in the background.
It is always playing in the background. But I believe it's because the kind of love that you describe on your CD is the kind of love that I don't know any woman or man that doesn't want that kind of love.
Yeah.
Like it's just amazing. And the great thing about poets is they have the ability to articulate people's thoughts and feelings that they can't put into words themselves. Amen. And you did exactly that on this CD. So hell, I thank you.
I do thank you too.
Yeah, I thank you.
Mr. Eros, so before we get into this beautiful discussion, let us know, like, how did you get into poetry? What made you fall in love with poetry?
Yeah, great question.
Why she say it like that?
Why she say it like that, though?
Why she said it like poetry?
She made it sound like I needed to make sure we got a PG-13 rating on this thing.
Right. Yeah. It's the life inside of this glass.
Yeah, no, it was so to answer your question, I actually started writing as a way to cope with the absence of my father when I was coming up. My dad left when I was about 3 months old, and as I started to get into my teenage years, being a kid from the hood, I really started to feel a sense of resentment toward him. And I didn't know how to accurately convey what I was feeling. So initially I started writing hip hop. And then one day I was watching Def Poetry, and J.I.V. came on, and he wrote a letter called Dear Father. And it was a piece. And J.I.V. is from Chicago, dope poet. He's been on Kanye's album, the College Dropout album. And this letter he wrote to his father was so dynamic that I'm like, you know what? Maybe I need to write a letter in the form of poetry. And I did that. And ever since then, it's stuck. And I've been writing ever since. I never put my pen down. I've written about everything: heartbreak, love, daddy issues, mama issues, religion, any and everything you could think of. But love is what resonates from my heart the most. And that's what I write about. So,
what was the first poem you wrote?
Man, it was a poem called, well, I probably can't tell you the very first poem I wrote, but the one I remember the most was a poem I wrote called Hard Times. And I think I may have been 17 years old when I wrote that poem. And that was the first poem I actually can remember performing.
So where'd you first perform at? Like, where was your first, feature? Or
it was at a talent show in Chicago. And everybody on the bill were singers and rappers. And I got up and did a poem, and I won the show, which was pretty dope. And
so
it just stuck.
To give you some wings to keep going, yeah.
Amen. And I mean, obviously it helped that it was therapeutic, but winning money didn't hurt either.
Right. So I've spoken to a lot of poets, and you have some that live and die by slams, and then you have those that won't touch a slam. Like, where are you on that spectrum?
That's an excellent question. It's funny you even said that because I don't know. I love to perform poetry, right? Obviously, I perform, I'm featured, I do that. And I enjoy being able to have impact on crowds of people. I throw showcases and things of that nature, but I had never touched a poetry slam. Honestly, I enjoy slam poets, but competing for poetry was never something I really wanted to do, never really been interested in. I don't find anything wrong with it. Obviously, I think that slam poetry is amazing to watch. It's extremely exciting. But because most of us are writing from a place of healing or whatever, of self-expression, there's some sensitivity around being judged for.
Right.
And if you get up and write a piece that's, about, something you've been through, a very traumatic experience for you, this poem that you wrote that you're now sharing with these people may have changed your entire life. And you may lose the slam. And then you may somehow feel like you weren't good enough, or this experience wasn't as important as you thought it was. And now you walk away feeling some type of way. I think that can be kind of dangerous. But whenever we put our poetry out on a public platform to be judged and we're performing for the crowd, you got to kind of take what comes with that. I had never done a slam until last year in November, the Ham Slam. And I won that slam, which was crazy because I had never done one before. I didn't know what to expect. They had us do a few writing on assignment, challenges where we had to write poems in like 15 minutes. And, it worked out. I don't know if I would ever do another slam. I'm not against them, but, it's not something I kind of seek to do. It's not really what I want to use my platform for.
What about writing workshops? Do you do those? Do you put them on yourself? I mean, how do you?
So me and Geronimo Speaks, who's a super dope artist here in Chicago, my brother, we host writing workshops with the Juvenile Detention Center here in Illinois. And we also do Chicago Public Schools. I host a class every Tuesday and every Wednesday and Thursday with youth after school. We go over poetry assignments and we teach them, skill sets when it comes to writing, stage performance, stage presence, working on certain skill sets, alliteration, how to use your experiences and put them into writing, how to, make these words rhyme, and how not to sacrifice the message for the rhyme scheme and things of that nature. And the things we've been able to watch these kids do is absolutely amazing. I'm super excited about the poets that are coming after us. Because what they're going to do is really, truly going to change the world. And I just have so much faith in that.
That's what's up.
Yes, it is.
I know that you and I had spoken before, and we were talking about K-Love and what I had seen her do with children in the Chicago area. And she had brought them to the compound. Not sure why you haven't been to the compound, but we will definitely have to do something to fix that.
Amen.
But I'm going to get into your CD now. We're going to talk about your CD a little bit.
Okay.
I'm going to try to ask you different questions than what I've asked you before, because I don't want you. But tell me, first of all, who is the therapist on here?
Her name is Erica Edwards.
Okay.
And she is absolutely amazing.
Okay. Okay. And I don't want to mispronounce her name. Mashavu?
Mashavu, yep.
Okay, I said that right. Yeah. So is she another Chicago-based artist, or?
Yes. Mashavu is an extremely talented singer, songwriter, poet, actress. She's done tons of work here in Chicago. Just an amazing talent. And she really helped bring this project to life. I met Mashavu at an open mic. I kind of tell that story a little bit, but I make it like it's relationship focused. But I met her at an open mic here in Chicago, and her energy was just so solid. And she sent me a song she wrote, and it was perfect for the first track called The Apology.
Right.
And you know what? I could build this entire album around this idea. And so I started writing out these therapy skits, and I asked her if she could read some of these lines to me. And when she did it, I was like, yeah, this is ordained. This is who God wants me to use. And it just made sense. Right. So we went from there.
So intentional intimacy. Can you walk us through what the idea was behind that. What was going on in your head when you wrote that?
Man, that's one of my favorite tracks, actually. Intentional intimacy is so powerful because I believe that it allows people to see erotic poetry on a different level. I think sometimes we're so quick to sacrifice, the carnal instincts that we have physically, that we don't really realize that sex can be so much more than just what's on this physical plane. We can learn to heal through sex. We can manifest. We can affirm. There's a line where I say, we don't care about scars or stretch marks. We're not thinking about, makeup or manicured hands, because the only thing that matters is the way our bodies dance. There's a tantalizing trance. Can you feel it? Are you getting there? And it's this like mental dance that we do.
I just got there. Just let y'all know.
you just took her there. I don't even know. I don't even know what to.
Well,
this will probably go down in one of his most memorable interviews he has.
Yes, honey. Yes.
I believe. Do you need to go off screen and have a moment or something?
He makes love to you with his words.
You need some ice.
I'm okay.
You good?
Yeah.
Your fan or something?
Get a towel.
Can we let the man answer the question? Okay.
You can feel his words. Is it just me? You can feel his words. Like,
no, it's not. It's not just you. You just the one showing it.
We trying to keep it together. You on the other hand are just doing the most.
Honey. Okay, I'm sorry. Speak.
Okay, so thank you for that, though. I appreciate that.
Wow.
Intentional intimacy. There's the lines I kind of want to make sure that I focus on. Another one is we heal our nervous systems, right? We spend so much time bragging about these physical images that we have, which are really just vehicles of God, right? Like, we are vehicles, but God's spirit is put into all of us. So when we get into sex, it's like, oh, we're using these physical vehicles to, create. And it's like, yeah, but that's just very surface, right? When you really get deep down and connect to somebody and you form a soul tie with the person you love, none of the stretch marks or the physical things really matter as much as we give attention to them. And I think oftentimes we chase this physical pleasure because we're not working on the inner spirit. And the minute we start working on the inner spirit, I believe we can connect to people we really love. We can form a real connection with somebody. And then the intimacy in itself becomes intentional. We're not just collecting bodies, right? We're forming connections with people that we are creating from. Things can come to fruition when you manifest with the person that you're sleeping with. Manifesting during sex is a completely different energy. And so I wanted intentional intimacy to convey that message. And I wanted people to walk away like, damn, have I ever been intentional about being intimate with somebody? Right. And not just deciding who I'm going to sleep with, but being intimate with them, like letting them in. And I think that's
I don't think a lot of people know what intimacy is. The common goal is to reach the orgasm. That's what people think.
Right.
Well,
I think
it's a good part of it. It ain't got to be the only part.
So here's what I'll say though. The whole point.
But then it's a problem if you can't even reach. It becomes a problem if you can't even reach an orgasm.
Right.
Well, I think
some of them.
For women, the orgasm is mainly mental more than anything else, and so you could be, extremely well endowed. You can be fit in the bedroom, and you could still not get a woman because, unfortunately, we're again focusing so much on the physical. Right. But when she knows how much you're into her, the idea behind wanting to really please a woman, but not just please her physically, but like, I'm connected enough to you to want you to be happy. Right. Like, not just satisfied, but I want you to feel joy. I want you to feel peace. Like I'm operating in the fruitages of the spirit, right? Love, joy, peace, long suffering, kindness, goodness, faith, mildness, self-control. If I'm operating in that space while I'm making love to you, the orgasm is coming. That's why there's a consistent line in that poem that says, can you feel it? Are you getting there? And what I'm asking if you're feeling is, can you feel this love I'm pouring into you during this moment? It's not just, can you feel the sex? Can you feel me? Like giving myself to you, healing through this process. And I believe when we do that, we can reach incredible heights with people. And the soul ties that we form in that space are intentional and therapeutic. They're healing.
Right. Oh, there's some healing there. Yes.
Unique.
She what you did to my friend, Eros.
No, I'm just saying. I'm saying because I'm saying what the audience is thinking. I'm saying what the audience is thinking. So
okay. So let's move on to another track.
Okay.
Movie Time Love was a really fun track for me
that
because
was cool. Yeah.
I could in my mind, as you're saying the movie titles and you're stringing them together, I'm like, oh yeah. And so why that?
Movie Time Love was fun for me too. I did that a bit to stretch my pen, but also because sometimes we, as artists, we sacrifice, again, messages for punchlines or for rhyme schemes. Movie Time Love, I felt, was good because a lot of what our psyche tells us about relationships came from movies that we used to love to watch. Like if you think about movies like The Notebook or Titanic or whatever your favorite romance movie is, some people love Love Jones, Brown Sugar. And when we look at Just Right, when we look at these movies, it's like, man, I want that. And I think we all kind of fantasize a bit about how we want love to feel all the time. But inside that piece, I start talking about some of the shadow work I've done intentionally, right? I say, I've had, beautiful women, but what I'm looking for is more than just a pretty woman, right? I need somebody more than I can show off at the mall, more than just a booty call, right? I've been looking for a wife, and I want her to be just right. So I've been working on me being the best man that I could possibly be. And even with that, I've named like 7 movies just now. But inside of that is the truth is that I'm really, truly working on me. And what we don't see in the movies is the work people did to get to the place that we want to be at. All we see is the manifestation of like, oh, they love each other and they're going to die together one day and they don't want to live without one another. But in order to get to that space, we got to do some individual work first. Both people. And so that was the message behind Movie Time Love, and how in both instances, we've had bad experiences. Like I say, we both suffer heartbreak, but we never wore it as a scarred face, right? And that basically meant that we weren't operating in our pain. We were still believing that love was going to be real for us.
Okay. So, now, can you, some people might not know, but, since you talked about it, can you explain to people what is shadow work?
So I look at it this way. We do a lot of things. Most of where we operate is in the subconscious mind. We don't even know that we're doing certain things or that we have habits of being, right? We wake up in the morning, our routines are basically the same. We're not really even thinking about what we're doing. It's like, I know to get up, turn the light on, maybe straighten up my bed, go brush my teeth, take a shower, put my clothes on, iron them, like whatever that routine is, it's subconsciously created. And so the shadow work is the things that make us do what people see on the surface. Is what that representative on the surface is doing. Like, why do I think this way? Why do I get so irritated when I'm late for work? There's some shadow work that needs to help us understand like why it's like that. Or if we're in relationships with people, why we feel comfortable screaming at our significant other, or the silent treatment, or why we may get to a space where we kind of clam up. We don't want to share things. There's shadow work that needs to be done because we've practiced these habits. And on the surface, it looks like we're intentionally doing these things. But a lot of this is coming from the subconscious mind. It's whatever's connected to whatever trauma we done been through, whatever bad experiences we've had. We now operate in this habitual thing of this is just how I am. And that's what people say a lot. This is just how I am. But that's because you're refusing to do any shadow work. That's why you are that way. You don't even know why you're that way. And the real reason you are that way is because you haven't dug deep to find out why. And normally it stems from something you saw growing up and being willing to face whatever demon that is. And I had to do that myself. There are some habits I have behind trust and abandonment that are very, very strong in me that I had to first consciously address. And then once I did that, I've been able to slowly, I'm not perfect at it yet, but work into a space where I'm able to trust people a little bit more. So again, something I always say is that healing is constant. People like to be like, oh, I'm healed. And it's like, nah, healing is every day. It doesn't just go away. Like hopefully I don't mean to ramble here, but I want to make sure that I get this point across. Years ago, I scarred myself right here on my arm. And I cut myself all the way down to like almost the bone. And I got stitches, it healed, and now it's not sensitive to the touch anymore. But if it rains, I still feel it here in this area. And that teaches me that sometimes there are certain things that can reactivate pain. But we tell ourselves that we're so healed. We're in this space of, oh, it doesn't affect me anymore. But that's not true. You just haven't had a trigger yet. And sometimes if somebody hits my arm the wrong way, it'll hurt worse on this arm than it will over here. And the same thing happens with us emotions. We are always healing every day. We're getting better every day. And then when those triggers come, it may not impact us as much, but healing is a daily journey.
Healing never stops.
Amen.
That's beautiful. Have you ever thought about becoming a therapist? You could be like a love therapist or something.
Man,
I mean, you technically are doing that though through your music. Yeah, you are doing that through your music. But I'm just saying, I'd love to hear you talk.
I want to go back to school and get my degree as a psychologist. So maybe one day.
Well, I'll be sitting on your couch because I got a lot of unresolved issues.
You're gonna be sitting unique,
but it comes back to what you was saying. Like I need to. When I had an issue, right? And I know if people have heard the story or not, but like when I first got with my husband, I was clinging, and he was the push off kind of, and I clinged, and he's like, I'm not used to nobody clinging. And my thing is, you're not used to no one caring because they out doing what they want to do. So now they don't give a care about what you're doing. You know, that was my defense. Then I had to sit down, tell myself, you know, like, okay, I know I have abandonment issues. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm holding on tight because I am in fear of losing.
Yeah.
So that made me cling. You understand? But I had to sit down with myself and have this conversation. Like a perfect example, like the other day, an issue came up and I kind of panicked because it's like, how am I get this done before the deadline? So then now an attitude came up. Everything's irritating me. Now I can find a million faults within you and a million faults within you. And then myself was like, like sit down, calm down. This what we finna do. We know why you're upset. You're upset because you don't feel like you can meet your deadline. You ain't mad at this person right here for real because of this, and that, because that's that. You're not mad because of this right there. So you can try to create all of these reasons why you mad right now and got a attitude of why your attitude funky, when bottom line is you're upset because you don't feel like you're going to meet your deadline. You understand what I'm saying? So I but everyone is not able to do that. I'm able to sit down and take fault and, you know what I'm saying, go back and say, hey, you know what I'm saying, I'm tripping. And I know I'm tripping, and I'm tripping because I feel like this. I feel like I'm losing control. You know, I feel like, you know, but that's work within itself that it takes some time to get there. And poetry could be a way of, you know, getting into. Once upon a time, I used to write poetry. It was part of my therapy. Um, for some who know me and for some who don't, and this segment is not even about me, but um, it was a part of time in my life, teenage years. I had a situation going on, and my therapist thought, you know, I had journals, so I would write, and I was good at it. And I remember I wrote a poem called Motherless Child, anyway, but it helped channel my mommy issues that I had as far as abandonment. And I'm not gonna lie, it is a ongoing process when it comes to healing and doing shadow work. It is not something that you can just, okay, well, I did a little steps today and I'm healed. Like it doesn't work that way, because I'm uh 20 some years old somewhere up in there in my mind. And you know what I'm saying? And and I
Okay.
still find myself in that little girl state wanting my mama. You know what I'm saying? That has never been there for me. That has always let me down. You know what I'm saying? But that little girl in me and my mom, that issue, I know it hasn't healed, is unresolved. And I'm gonna share with y'all, and I want your honest opinion of what you think why I feel like it's not resolved. Okay, so supposedly she's supposed to be dead. When you type her name in, all that blah blah, it says she's dead. And then it asks if you want to obtain a death certificate. Well, anyway, you can't get a death certificate for her. And I remember some of my folks found me online, and the story went like they got a phone call. My mom supposed OD'd in the streets, and they found her propped up against the fence like the next morning or whatever. So when my grandma and my aunt was called, you know, for my grandma to claim, you know, her body or whatever, they couldn't claim her body because that was not her body. But no one's seen her since. So I think not knowing the answer is, you get what I'm saying, is causing me to not fully be able to heal. If that makes
that I think that at some point you have to recognize what you have control over and what you don't have control over. You know, if she's gone and you've done everything that you can to try to find her and locate her, sometimes we feel like if we come face to face with our issue, then it'll miraculously go away. But the healing that you have to do, you can do without her.
Yeah.
You can do it without her.
And I pretty much
Yeah,
have,
you can.
but I still just want to know, you know, like,
I mean,
It's like an open hole.
and you're right, it is like an open hole.
She needs
And
closure, is what she's saying. She wants closure.
well, closure is great in theory, but it's not always possible.
That's true too.
We have to be able to dead a situation on our own. You're not always gonna get closure, and even when you come face to face with that person, if you're ever able to come face to face with them, you still may not get the closure that you want, because it requires them to participate. And if they don't participate, then you're still not going to get closure, even if you're looking them in the face.
And now you're going to deal with something new,
right?
A new pain or deep in the wound.
So the responsibility of you getting past this not forgetting it, but getting past it so that you can function and that you can deal and you can let it go, is to inwardly work on it. Because
Right.
there
That's
is,
true.
you cannot think that an outside entity can help you feel a certain way on the inside. You have
Right.
to, learn how to heal from within.
So, Mr.
And I
Eros,
get that.
that goes to a question to you. Have you used poetry so much as a coping mechanism and healed, or use it as a tool? You understand what I'm saying? Or part of healing, like
Absolutely.
therapeutically?
Yeah,
Or like
absolutely.
have certain situations, and so you made a poem about it and that was therapeutic for you, or that kind of, you get what I'm saying, kind of help fill that void, rather, or you understand what I'm trying to.
I do. I do. So I have a poem that I wrote that got some national attention. Ended up on news source here in Chicago called "Cry."
So,
And this poem specifically addresses the inability we have sometimes as men to allow ourselves to cry. And now I'm even seeing it a lot of times with women too. It's almost like we feel ashamed to let tears be shed. And I know for
yeah,
me, when it was coming up, I was taught as a young man that crying was for weak people and that
right.
a man never cries, right? A man has to brace up, he's got to be strong. And somehow it's like we thought that being strong meant not conveying your emotions properly. But then I started doing research on it. I remember one time I was under immense stress and I refused to let a tear come out my eye. I was like, no, I was angry at myself when tears were starting to well up in my eyes. I'm like, man, why am I like this? What is the problem? I'm like, why am I so ashamed of my tears? And I wrote, and after I finished that poem, I let out a lot of tears.
Right.
And I started sharing it with people, and it had an amazing impact on audiences. And I wrote that piece to heal myself. And that's when you tap into the God energy, because once you do that, you can start to help other people as well. So, yes, poetry
Exactly.
is absolutely therapeutic. And I want to touch on one more point that Sarita made that I think is very powerful. The idea behind closure is it's a bit of a narrative that we tell ourselves that we need closure, but closure is really us saying that we want this story to end the way we want it to end.
Exactly.
Sometimes you already have the closure and you want to create it to make it feel better, right? Like, I want my character and my story to look like this, and I want the story to end this way. So if it doesn't, it feels like it's kind of wide open. But movies end with shocking endings all the time, right? Like, it's
Mhm.
sometimes like, oh, I didn't expect the movie to do that way, but it didn't mean the movie wasn't over. It's still over, right?
Right.
But it didn't
Right.
end the way we wanted it to end. So we felt like, oh, well, now it's just kind of open. But no, it's not. Life has taught us that things are supposed to kind of follow a path. But Romans 15:4 says, all things written aforetime were written for our instruction, that through comfort from the scriptures we might have hope. So all things in life, no matter what the outcomes are, end at some point. And however they end can be considered closure. And that's something you're going to look for within and become satisfied with where you are. That's an inner thing. And no matter what the external outcome will be, your closure comes from within. So I'm in complete agreement with Sarita and what she said on that. And I think that as you work into that space, you'll find exactly what you're looking for.
I
Now,
think that is
Sarita,
so beautiful.
Well,
Sarita,
we're
you
gonna.
write poems, right?
I do.
Okay, so where do your motivation comes from? Like, how do you get into, do it be certain events that can happen and it just flow, or like, tell us how you.
I write about my life. I write about what I know. I mean,
Okay.
I don't know anybody else's emotions. I just know mine. So I write about, things that I go through. I've gone through a lot in my life. So, I talk about my children. I talk about my relationships. I've had some daddy issues, some mama issues, some not feeling like I'm enough issues, some self-esteem issues, some things that I've had to deal with myself, my arrogance, my, just, life, anything that I've experienced, I write about. Sometimes I write about it. I have poems that I've never performed. I have poems that I've never shared because I wrote them for me. Because
Right.
sometimes I needed to just write out what I
What
was
you was
going
feeling.
through to,
Yeah.
to understand it,
Yep.
and to deal with it. So I don't know many poets that have published everything or performed everything that they've written, because some things are just for you.
Private. Yeah.
They're just a way of being a therapist. What I've learned a lot about poets that I've met in myself is that most poets are empaths.
Yep.
They have the unique ability of taking someone else's pain and absorbing it. And so sometimes you have to cut yourself off from people. Sometimes you have to learn how to create a bubble around you. There are times when I'm feeling a certain way and that I have to step back and say, wait a minute, is this me?
Right.
Um, and
Yeah.
it can be overwhelming
Right.
sometimes. So when I feel like that, I write. You know, and sometimes, yeah, it could be I hear a song on the radio and it triggers a memory, or um, I'm talking to a friend and they're going through something and I can relate to it because maybe I've gone through it, or they're a friend that's poured so much of their relationship into my life that I feel like I'm in. So I'll talk about it. But I think with any poet, um, what they write just comes from their, what they've gone through and how they dealt with it. I used to be known as a poet that only did erotic poetry. Everyone walked in, no one gave me the opportunity to do anything else. They wanted to hear something nasty. As soon as I walked in the door, hey, you got something nasty. So it made me feel like I always had to have, a stack of erotic poems on deck. But, and I didn't mind doing them because that is part of my personality and who I am. But then I got angry because I was like, I don't just write about sex, y'all. I don't write, I write other stuff, and it wasn't until, I, kind of was like, I'm not performing anymore. And then when I do perform, I can perform anything. The funniest story that I have is I was really mad at God at one point, and I wrote a poem about I was tired of a savior that didn't save. Um, I
Wow.
performed I performed it in Birmingham at an open mic, and I had my friend with me, and we were in there, and I did the poem, and it was really quiet afterwards. Like nobody was clapping, nobody was doing anything. They were just kind of just staring at me like, "Did she just say?" And so my friend grabs me off the stage, and she's like, "Yo, let's get out of here before they lynch us." And then somebody in the back started clapping, because I was nervous because they didn't boo it. They just kind of looked at me like, what
What the
the
heck?
and I was so scared. I was like, uh-oh, maybe I pushed it too far. And but then after that person started clapping and my friend is like she got me ducked down, like we about to get out the door. People started coming up to me and saying, you know what? I understand. I felt like that too. So I mean, sometimes it's just stepping out, being real with who you are, and you realize that other
Yes.
people have gone through the same thing. But yeah, I was terrified, y'all. I thought we was gonna get strung up in Birmingham because I talked about God and Jesus and where was he when I needed him for this, and how did he watch this happen to me? And yeah, so yeah, it wasn't pretty, y'all. I'm just saying. But
But saying something that a lot of people be thinking and they just don't say out loud. And that's another
right,
thing that poets bring to the table.
And my
Um,
right,
poetry is a little dark, people who know me know I have a dark sense of humor. So my little poetry is, a little in the shadows, but It's a
Not in
music.
the shadows. Not in the shadows. You know what I want to do right now is play. I know your favorite is intentional intimacy, and my favorite is embarrassingly in love. So we're gonna play something else so other people can hear, because I can listen to this all day. So let's see. We are going to do
I
time for
got
you.
embarrassing. Oh,
You
Well,
good?
wait a minute.
well, we were trying. Look, y'all know I could listen to embarrassingly in love like back to back
Right.
all day. I'm gonna know that. I know that poem now. I could probably perform it at this point.
Okay. Go
But,
crazy.
I
but
wouldn't doubt it either.
I'm, man, y'all, you just don't. He think I be gassing him up when I tell him, but
No, she's
I'm
not.
serious.
It's
I'm
always in the
serious.
background when I call her. You're always in the background.
And when I went to Birmingham to visit her, we were in the car listening
Yeah,
to it. I had it on the.
on repeat.
I know we've been in the car, and I know they're like, "This is dope, Serena," but we are really tired.
What did you say?
But
You said time for you.
I think we're gonna do time for you. Yes, that's what we're about to do. You got it.
Yeah, I
Okay,
got
so
Do
it.
I need to
let's.
Now,
mute my
now bear
phone so
with
there's
me
no
because
interference?
Hmm.
Do I need to mute so there's no interference, or like
I mean,
was it
you
just?
can,
no, no,
but
no.
you don't have to.
Okay.
Could y'all hear that? No, I don't know what
I
I'm
heard like
doing,
the
y'all.
beginning
So
note. If you can't,
okay,
let me know and I'll play it.
I can do it. Just bear with me one
Okay.
moment, please, and I'll be right with you.
I like time for you, so.
Can we take out some time to talk? Now, I'm not saying that you're all talk, but you have been taught the power of thought. The powerful results are listening to those quiet taunts inside. Now, that isn't something to silence and just toss aside. I be noticing how you be saying all the right things. Self-love this and positive vibes that. But I just gotta ask, when was the last time that you actually had that? I mean, when was the last time that you leveled up and kept your levels up? Let yourself be led to love and still left enough for yourself to love.
Mm-hmm.
Are you saying what you mean?
Mm.
Or have you just become the mean queen? To pretend things are good by any means, queen, or do you actually live by these things, queen? Now, I can't play judge to you. Understand that I get no satisfaction from judging you. Yet I notice how you always seem to stretch yourself for others, but nobody ever seems to adjust for you. And maybe it's just for you to never check on you or to give to everybody else what's addressed for you. And this is just my view. Maybe my perspective is just skewed, so I'm asking you to clear it up because you don't seem to be cheered up enough. And we know that you deserve that. I really think you just need to get your nerve back. I know you've already heard that. Where's the action behind the words at? Nobody should ever commit the crime of trying to take what's aligned to you. But you can't keep passing out the greatness that's assigned to you. Standing in your purpose is where your peace lives in truth. The people around you getting bigger while you're shrinking because they're all eating pieces of you, baby. That can't be easy for you.
Mm-mm.
I'm only asking you to take some time. Stop thinking folks have the right to steal your light so they can shine. You were born bright, love. You glow in the daytime. Imagine what's gonna happen when you finally take the time to put yourself and your mental health first. You're already impregnated with your purpose, baby. Wait until you see what you birth. Wait until you get introduced to your worth. Don't you know that your womb holds earth? That you created life right when life hurts the worst? Yeah, you can love on others, but you have to save some love for you too. Nobody needs you more than you do. Don't keep loving on energy that's abusing you. Do you want to know why your choices haven't been great? Well, I want you to think of all the energy you create when it comes down to choosing you. I only want to speak truth to you. There's so much truth in you, but you have to be true to you. You can't be on time for everybody else, but be true for you. Self-love is the start of, and now we gotta understand the meaning. The next time you say your affirmations, I need you to speak it like you mean it. Your divine power can't wait for you to meet it. It's time to receive what you know and believe is designed for you. Watching the clock, and all you need to know is that it's time for me. Are you time for me? You know I because I'm gonna be still. You are right in the mirror. Can you see me?
Well,
Beautiful.
well.
So what y'all got to know about this CD is it is one of those CDs that you could put on and not have to skip. You can
Right.
make it be your background music while you
While you
can
work.
make it your back. Well, if that's what you want to call it. But you can have it playing in the background. It is that kind of CD. I mean, you can either study it or just
Like
enjoy
Sarita.
it.
But I
No, I
thoroughly
love
enjoyed it
this
myself. But
CD.
when I first heard that track there, I cried because it was
Wow.
actually something that I was kind of trying to coach myself into doing more of because I always give of myself, and then it's never being poured back into, you know. So it was something I was trying to coach myself out of doing. And so when Sarita was like, "Oh, we're gonna have Eros," she was like, "You gotta listen to this." And so I started listening to the album, and I was like, "Wow,
I should be on his marketing team.
you
I think
should. She
I should.
should. You
I
should.
really should.
She
I
needs
mean,
checks, sir.
I need check.
She needs a
I need
check."
some form of payment.
That's not it.
I am so done.
So, Eros.
We just ain't gonna never do our topic, y'all.
Forget
No,
the topic.
I'm
Look,
looking him up. So Eros, Prince of
peace, prosperity, and poetry.
Okay.
The real PPP.
And it
How about
shouldn't
that?
be, yeah, and it shouldn't be Prince, it should be King. God damn it. I mean that doggone it. My
okay,
bad.
yeah.
Sorry.
So what we're gonna do right now is ask
Eros,
him to
the Love
perform
Her
something.
album, right?
Uh-huh.
Yes, love her album.
I'm just trying to make sure it's you.
You gonna do something live for us?
Sure. I'm ready when you all are.
Okay, y'all. Hope y'all
My-
got an extra pair of panties besides y'all.
My question to you is, are you gonna do something new?
Yeah.
Yay.
So I'm gonna do something that you all are probably. You've not heard Sarita, and since this is both of your first like real introduction to me, this piece, the first time I performed it was yesterday. And
Okay.
So, this will be its second debut, and I'm giving it to you all. So here we go.
Okay.
Last night. Wow. I mean, last night. How? I mean, last night how the way we make love felt zealous. We even make the angels jealous. You see, they've never seen human beings who can fly without wings or ascend to heights that they've never even been. We were intimate. And there was a certain flavor in your favor, intimates, and we were really into it. No thoughts of ending it, even when we finished. I was inside of you. I sat and had a conversation with your lower vibrations. I talked to your trauma. I even spoke to your subconscious about everything that makes you self-conscious. You said, Eros, now that you're inside of me, I need you to learn to love every single side of me. Do more than have sex with this body. Love me on a level more godly. My body be where God be. You see, having access to you physically was really just the smallest part of it. I mean, yeah, you've been with men who loved your shape, but they couldn't differentiate when you were bent out of it. That's why when love started, you were always stopping it. That's why you took open heart and you put lock on it, because you needed to feel secure. So you boxed your heart behind a metal door, safe. And that's not where you wanted it to stay, but you hadn't yet found a better place. And so here we lay, just centimeters apart. Hands on hearts. I pump love into your chest while I give you my breath. CPR. See, we are still recovering. And this is where our deepest love is. I was the first one to discover it. No Christopher Columbus. We laughed at your other lovers because they couldn't find your spot with a compass. Because there's so much more it encompasses. But we accomplished it. The moon watched us with envy as we took full advantage of the nighttime. It felt like it lasted a lifetime. You haven't made love until you've made love to your lifeline. I'm gonna wife mine. Have you ever had sex so good you had to sit and write lines while sipping white wine? We walk a fine line between flesh and spirit. I mean, hell, it's like we rekindled our ancestors when we slept together. And the climax lasted forever. We came again when we exited each other. No secret lovers, we love out loud. Wow. Last night, how? Last night we howled. We gave each other our best. You ever manifest? I said, do you ever manifest? Do you ever manifest during sex? Process your pain. Sex after that is never the same. It's intense and insane. There is no rain made to extinguish twin flames. We bear all the heavens erupt in applause, so proud of our cause, because so many people focus on the physical that they don't seem to realize that sex is spiritual. But who the hell cares about other people? When we're blessed enough to make love to our equal, I think we're all yearning for that. I believe it's worth a lifetime searching for that. And if I could never take another breath after the fact, I believe it would have all been worth it for that. Last night. Wow.
That was beautiful. Yes.
Listen.
I closed my eyes and
yeah,
like I was on a road trip, honey.
I had to check myself a little bit there. I had to check myself just a little bit, but you know,
that was deep. That's intellect. You know what I'm saying? And that's part of that's why I love my black men. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I love my black men. I don't care if they transgender, if they this, if they that. I love my black men, and black men are so underrated, but they're not so underrated because they're feared by the enemy. All the white women want you. You know what I'm saying? Black women don't know how to appreciate. I'm just saying, like,
going left.
You're a gift.
I want to know how many draws been thrown his way, because I know.
And that is true.
I know they be throwing their draws at you.
You know, I hope you ain't up here being no Jerome Jackson or whatever his name is.
Derek Jackson. Derek Jackson. Y'all, he is not. This is authentically him.
I love it. I love it. You know
me. I am amazed by him. I am truly like,
yes. I can sit at the table and have conversations with you, and I'm pretty sure we can talk past this subject here, because you seem like, you know, you're very knowledgeable and not judgmental and can hold a conversation. So I'm pretty sure we could have some pretty deep conversations.
I know, right? When you gonna come visit us in Alabama?
It goes beyond this.
Just let me know when. I'd love to come out.
Sure, we gonna get you out here some which way. We gonna talk. We gonna talk. You ain't gotta worry about that. Yes.
Who we?
We all gonna talk. We all gonna talk.
Oh, we gonna make that happen? Is that what y'all saying?
Yeah,
That's what
gonna
we're
make it.
trying to do, Reed.
yeah,
That's
we
what.
should
Where
all
you
hang
at?
out.
I'm sorry, I was on
Oh
the
yeah, I cook dinner and everything.
We should
yeah,
hang out
chicken.
and have fun. Poetry, it'd just be nice to mingle with like-minded people. You
Amen.
understand what I'm saying?
They
Or
must really like you because they don't invite nobody to the house. I'm just tell you. They must really like you because they don't invite nobody. How many guests we had on the show? None of them got an invite to the house.
You're right.
And Lyric
But
offered,
it
offered to cook. Lyric, that's
and
not
I do know how to make some nice vegan dishes. So
Awesome. I appreciate that.
no problem. Yes, honey, we gotta get this together.
Let's
right.
do it. Let's do it.
Eros got me cooking for him, and then wow, see what that poem did?
Eros, do you have any poems that's gonna make me cry?
we don't want you to cry tonight, Unique.
I don't
Hi.
know. Yeah, I don't
No,
want.
no tears tonight, Unique. No tears. No, we ain't doing it. No, we want you happy.
I
Like
know.
you are now,
I'm
smiling.
emotional.
Here.
I'm very emotional.
Yeah.
So I just want to
He's
know.
on here. Can we get in your business now?
Sure.
Mine?
No.
Oh.
We talked about your poetry and how you got into your subject matter and that you were recently happily divorced, or however you phrase it. I don't want to put no words in your mouth. But you're divorced. So are you single?
So just for clarification, I am in the process of finalizing the divorce. So
Oh, so
I
he's single.
I am definitely single.
But
And
you're in a relationship with yourself.
I'm intentionally taking time to heal.
Right.
Um,
That's what's up.
I'm not. I realize that there are moments where I really wish that somebody would be here next to me, and then I realize also how traumatic that could be for anybody at this season in my life. Um, I'm not healed enough to take care of anybody's heart right now while I'm still trying to mend my own. And it's gonna take a while. I was married for 13 years.
Oh,
And that's a long time to just allow to be with somebody. And it's a conversation for another day where I can tell you all why I had to get to this place. And a lot of it had to do with self-preservation for my own spirit. But the journey is one that I'm grateful for. The Love Her album came in the midst of all this. And so even this album was therapeutic for me in terms of this healing journey.
So
But I'm
what's
very
next?
great question. So the Love Her album, man, I haven't announced this to the world yet, but I guess I'll tell you all because I rock with you so hard. The Love Her album is going to be a stage play, and we're going to put it together. I'm writing a script now on the album and putting together something that we can travel around a few cities and share on a stage with people. Because I believe this is a story that people need to see and hear. So we'll be putting it together pretty soon and do some trial runs. I'm also currently working on a book called The Love Plug that's going to drop probably right after spring, early summer. It's a book about how our upbringing shapes the way that we see love. And I'm telling you, my whole story is 13 chapters. That's indicative of how long I was married. And I talk about some of the generational curses and the unpacking that we need to do in order to be in relationships and, more importantly, have healthy relationships. So that's what I'm working on. We're doing some video projects, for some visuals for the Love Her album. So busy. Got a lot of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, we know you're busy because you don't be. All right.
Sorry.
Okay.
I'm working on it.
Yep. You gotta do better. You gotta do better. You gotta do better.
leave that man alone, Reed.
He gotta do better.
Leave him alone.
He got to do better. He know he got to do better. That's why he laughing.
That's right. I got to do
He
better. You're
gonna
right.
do better.
He got to do better.
He gonna do better. I believe in him.
Yeah, okay. I believe in him too. Better, sir. Better.
Man, you got it. You got it. Aye.
Whew, y'all, this has been
This has been a very interesting night.
I am so glad that
Oh,
you
I don't think we just gonna do
and I know
topics
Unique is
anymore.
happy. Unique was very I think you really helped Unique tonight. Unique,
Yeah,
you should definitely listen to that entire um album,
Amen.
and
I am.
you should listen to it. It's
He'll be
amazing.
like my Raheem Devon of poetry.
Oh, you know what?
oh, I
That
would
is
think more.
good. I
I would
can see
actually put
that.
him. I would put him more of a Eric Roberson. I would
Mm.
put him up because of the
You will
content.
your
Eric
journey.
Roberson.
You will your journey. My journey.
Oh, that was beautiful.
That
That was
was
beautiful. That was beautiful.
if there
In
was
my
somebody
journey.
grandma,
In my journey, honey, he's Raheem
he's
Devon.
Raheem Devon.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Well, I'm not going. I don't have a journey that he's
He's just the
listen,
king of
he's
poetry.
just him. He's just
He's
him.
Eros, the
I don't
king
have
of
anybody
poetry.
yeah, he's just poetry
Thank you.
that I listen to every
Gosh.
night. We're not gonna go into any other issues that I have that I'm actually listening to this every night to go to sleep. And Lyric just told on me, girl, it'd be all in the car. We be in the car listening to it. It'd be in the background when I talk to her. It does play, but I mean, it's just got nice
Yeah, it is.
feel to it. Look at her. She's like, yeah, it really
I didn't did some waist beats to the album. Shoot,
Mm.
because that's like when something
it's
that
like
makes me calm.
affirmations, right? It's like
Yeah,
affirmation.
Oh,
yeah.
before we go, y'all, I did pull a card for general for overall, and it pertains to what we have been talking about as far as shadows work, all of that. So real quickly, y'all, I have the Heart of Pentacles, and as y'all see, it's the bull, with the flowers. And one thing about a bull, y'all, in training, if you're standing still, a bull is not programmed to charge a person that's standing still. It's only going to charge you if you're moving and running. So that's dun, 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 for your info. One of them things that come on. Did you know? Whatever. So before we go, the Naked Heart reading for this Heart of Pentacles, and I am not. Don't try to contact me to read your cards because I'm not gonna do it. Say that for me. Say that for me. He gonna do that. Okay. So the Naked Heart spiritual reading for this is I am I am the heart of my physical sacred space. I am being encouraged to pay attention to how I nurture myself so I feel replenished and restored. I am being asked to pamper myself with things that feel grounding, connecting, and nourishing to
All right.
myself. Personal traits: down to earth and values earned satisfaction, very independent and skillful at making things happen,
Mm,
loyal and shares a soft and loving heart, gracious, balanced, love to take care and nurture, embodies strong traditions and belief. A programmatic approach is preferred. Very determined with steady action and timing. Nature nurtures the soul. The shadow reverse meaning aspect of this is attachment to material objects and gain. Flighty and forgetful of others' needs. Detached from community, lost sense of self worth, and fear of failure, neglectful of self, and lost connection to nature and surroundings. So this talks about doing shadow work and all of that. Is being lost from being in touch with who you are. So this is guiding you back to who you are. You have to get to the root of the problem. And a lot of people don't like to revisit. A lot of people don't like to get to the root of the problem. It's kind of like going to a doctor. A doctor is not going to heal you. A doctor is going to treat you,
That's it.
because if I heal you, then you don't need me anymore. So that takes money off my pocket. So I will treat you and ease you for a minute and keep you coming back. What shadow work does is it heals you. It's not going to treat you. It's going to heal you by getting to the root of the problem. So that was my Heart of Pinnacle message for you all guys, because I do love you and we are healing together. So take heed of that, but don't be contacting me to read your cards, because I'm gonna ignore you. You want the
She's crazy.
card? Holla at Lyric. That's what she do.
Lyric will do you readings.
Yeah. But from time to time, I will come in with a message, for y'all. But yeah,
I don't
That was the
have
on-time
anything for y'all.
message.
I don't do anything for anybody publicly. So there
I'm
it
so
is.
done.
I don't. I don't
Well,
do that.
Eros, if you're interested, I'll do you a reading later though, because it's time to go. But I just thank
Well,
you for
thank
coming
you.
on. Like,
Thank you. Thank you for coming on, bearing with our technical difficulties.
Oh yeah, don't
no,
worry.
you're
right,
so
yo,
patient.
we
Like
had a
your
whole
energy.
show before the
Yeah,
thing was even
your
recording.
your energy was so calm and so relaxed, and it was like
That's
no
why it was the
panic,
Prince of Priest, the Prince
like
of
no
Priest.
worries. Like I'm here with y'all, just vibing. And I really appreciate that. We
He's like that
appreciate
all
it.
the
We really
time. Like
do. We really do.
We
he's like that
really
all the time.
do.
All the time.
Yeah,
I
I
feel
love the
like
energy you
you're
all
one
have
of
too.
my homies now.
Amen. Amen. I'm with that.
And I'm going to get you those body scrubs, because
Please do. Please do.
yes,
Please
I'm
do.
going to. All of us, Sarita, I got to make you a set too. You know.
Oh, I
And
need to get you my Oh, can you get me? Can you do me tonight? If I bring this,
I need
Cause
shea
she
butter.
going out of town.
I got
She
it.
gonna
I
get
got it.
some.
I got some. I just bought. I'll bring it to you because I'm
But
going.
y'all
I'm
stop.
leaving
Can
tomorrow.
y'all do this? Oh,
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You're right. Post show talk. Okay, yeah. So Eros, about
I bought.
back to you.
But if
Yeah, you're
y'all want some
amazing.
shea butters and stuff, y'all get at me though.
Okay.
Yeah, her stuff is official. Like I put it on in the
Yeah.
Cool,
morning
y'all.
and in
Body
the evening. It
scrubs,
was like
body
they're
lotions,
like
all
an
of
Hey,
incense.
this has nothing to do
that.
with anything. But since y'all talking about
Oh.
shea butter, I want to say this. I went and got me some of those TikTok leggings.
Mhm.
You don't need no TikTok leggings.
I went and got me some.
What they do?
Oh, girl,
They make
that
your
was
butt
all
sit
right.
up?
Well, my butt already sit up,
I
but I mean,
know.
it made it. It was just,
That's why I'm
yeah.
like, well, she need TikTok.
Like, do
Eros,
I
But
you
need,
talking about?
I'm saying,
do I
Look,
need
he's
some?
laughing.
let me.
I was,
Do I
I,
need to go
I got,
get me some?
girl, get you some. I'm trying to tell you. That's all I'm
Okay.
saying. Get you some. So I didn't really know what my butt looked like in it, and then I got a picture taken, and then I posted the picture. You know what? You saw the picture and you didn't even say nothing.
Who?
Look at his face. It was in my story.
What they call again?
The TikTok legends, girl.
The TikTok
Look, he
type.
still ain't said nothing.
I'm about to leave y'all. I ain't stay y'all.
I'm just
I'll
saying.
inbox you.
All right, y'all. I want to thank you again for coming to the show. I mean, you have so much to offer. We would love to have you back whenever you got time. We are going to make arrangements for you to get down to Georgia or Alabama, somewhere in between, so that we can all kind of
Especially do the
hang out.
play.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
You
So
should. You should do. He should do the play at the compound.
First of all, I sent him like 10 chapters of my book.
I've read the first two. I promise you, I'm gonna get to the rest of them. That book is amazing, by the way. I cannot wait for you to drop it. And when you do, I hope that I'm there at the signing because that book is
I
gonna
feel
be.
some kind of way.
Um,
I feel some kind of way because how you got the book, Eros? I ain't even got the book. I'm a
you know,
bestie.
I don't
Don't
even
feel
know.
bad.
Oh,
Don't
post
don't
talk
feel
show.
bad.
Post talk
But I
show.
Post
will
I
post
just
say
let
post.
you know.
I've never been to Alabama, and I would love to go.
I never been to Chicago, so we should.
Yeah, let's do it.
Well, we can
Let's
go to
make it.
Chicago. I was supposed to go to Chicago in end of July for a family reunion. So
Well,
yeah.
I was supposed to
Oh
go to Puerto
yeah.
Rico in June. I was supposed to go to Puerto Rico in June, but it don't look like that's gonna happen. So, I mean,
Come
I
on
commit.
through. I'll show you all the city. Anywhere you all want to see, we'll have a great time.
Yes, we will.
Unique, you
I'm gonna go
coming?
see.
Yeah, hopefully
Yes, because I'm gonna make.
I'm changing this new job, y'all. So if bear with me. So hopefully I will be,
Well,
but
we'll figure out a day to come down. I want to experience Chicago when it's hot.
yeah, but if not, y'all have fun and
I'm
bring me souvenirs.
not gonna say I'm not a snow person. It's just that I've never lived anywhere where there was a significant amount of snow, so I don't really know how to deal with it.
Yeah,
But I mean,
I'm
I could become a
ready.
snow person. I just don't. I just don't.
Okay.
Never
Yeah,
been.
I'm not a snow person either. I want to leave Chicago. So,
Where you want to go?
I debated on moving down to Texas for a while. But because my kids are here, and I have, my daughter full time and her friends are here, I split custody with my youngest son. I just want to make sure that I don't do too much disruption in their life. So, I'll be here until, they become adults.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
So,
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't
That's
nothing
the
wrong with that.
responsible thing to do. That's a good parent thing to
Man,
do.
you are just amazing. Like you're just dope as fuck. Can I say
thank
that?
you.
He is
Yes,
amazing.
he
He is.
is.
I think you
I
all
think
are
And
all.
so
amazing.
genuine
I
and
think
so
my
You
co-host.
pure.
I think. I think both my co-hosts got a crush on you at this point. I really don't.
I
Um.
do. I ain't. You know.
I think they
Hey,
got a
Like I
crush on you.
said, it's not so
I
much
am
as a
totally.
crush.
I am smitten.
I just love my black men, especially when they have intelligence and a mind like that. Like I love
Yes.
it.
I appreciate
We need more of that, because in the black community, that's rare to have a black man to say, you know what I'm saying, I love you, black woman. Let me help you heal. Let me show you, and to take out the time with the kids and, like that don't come too much. So, like, yes, I love my black men. I do.
You know what's refreshing is to be around a man that doesn't want anything from you but the best for you.
it.
Like
Amen.
Right.
you don't have to support them. You don't have to buy them shoes. You gotta buy them clothes. I mean, if you want to, you know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
I'm
No, right.
serious. Like, so I mean, I'm a Libra, so I like to give. I like to do,
Yes.
right?
That's what we
And
do.
and I and I and I don't do it with expectation of you doing it back. However,
Right.
when you start asking me for it because you're so used to me doing it, I feel some kind of way about that,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
especially when you're not, because Libras are about balance. This has to be fair. Now, if I'm
Yes.
giving to you because I want to give to you, that's different from you being able to come to me and ask me for something and with the expectation
Amen.
that I'm going to supply it and I can't
Amen.
do the same with you. And we're not even talking about, it doesn't always have to be materialistic things. It could just
Right
be,
now.
I'm always here to hear you and to invent or, help you solve whatever you got going on. But when it's my turn, I have the problem with being everybody's go-to person, but I don't have anybody to go to. So that's why relationships are hard for me because I have never found anyone that can balance and do
Right.
that equally. But
Amen.
but your friendship has been very balancing for me. I just want you to know that. Like our
Amen.
conversations, I walk away from all of
Oh.
our conversations feeling so much better, so much better. So I understand what these two are feeling because when I first started talking to you, I was just like, oh,
What? What? How?
Right? Like, where were you?
How?
Like,
Where
where
you
you been?
been?
Like, why?
Where you been?
Damn. It's like,
Yeah.
where,
You need to
where
teach a course or something. Like,
it was just refreshing to actually have a conversation. I don't think we ran out of stuff to say. I think we just realized that we had been talking for a while and we needed to go. So
ain't
we have to
nobody
have
even
him back
tried
on the
to literally
show.
leave. Jesus. That's how
Right,
dope you
right.
are.
So
Ain't nobody
I
even
think
really ready to go.
right, but we can go, but we need to have him
Yeah.
back on the show just to talk. I think you would be a great I mean, your schedule's busy, but if you ever decided that you had time to kind of just pop in every other Sunday and I don't know, speak your piece, we'd love to hear it.
I'll
AKA
definitely.
host. Then we'll have his picture on the flyer every time too.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm looking forward to coming back. Just let me know, say the word, and I will be here.
Thank you. Thank
Hey,
you.
thank you again
I
for
really
coming.
appreciate it.
This
Seriously.
is
And
probably one of my
you all gave me a lot of compliments. I just want to tell you that I loved the balance of energy in this interview. I think all three of you are absolutely amazing women. I'm grateful for the questions, the dialogue. This felt very conversational, and just the healing work that you all have done. It goes both ways. I feel like we're all mirrors of one another. There's no accident that we came across each other's paths because we're all in
Right.
a certain place where we were deserving of each other's company. So I'm very
Exactly.
grateful to even exist in this space with you all. So thank you. I appreciate you all.
Thank you so much too. And I'm finna get off, y'all. Y'all have a good night.
all right. Well, thank you
Well,
again.
have a
You
good
all-
night.
have
Everybody,
a
thank
good
you
night.
for joining the show. Everybody that tuned in, like, share, and subscribe. So
All
you
Yeah.
right.
can
Good
catch
night,
us next
guys.
time.
All right. Peace and
Until next
blessings.
time, guys, peace and love.